Chapter 53 This old man is very bad. You are listening at novelfull.audio. In the original work, Chakra seems to be reincarnated, but maybe not. After Itachi died, Chakra possessed Fugaku's son. In the dim room, Uchiha Madara's sharp eyes emitted a scarlet and strange light. He knew better than anyone how naive he was about what he just said, but that was why he said it. He wants to use Elder Weasel to create an ideal image of an old man for Aokiji. He is reasonable, caring for the younger generation, loves his family, and actively promotes his family's integration into the village. However, it was such a simple old man who couldn't bear the exclusion from the village's top management and eventually committed some extreme behaviors. Then when the time comes, when Shinji discovers that his beloved teacher has done such a thing, he will surely have an interesting change in his heart. Of course, this alone is not enough. It is just a part of his plan. Emotional outburst requires a continuous backlog process, while eruption requires an opportunity. Hashirama. Your power will guide me to open the eye of samsara. And your descendants will guide my descendants to inherit my will. Don't you think this is fate? That there was an evil smile on Uchiha's lips. Seeing Elder Itachi promoting himself in such a way, Aokiji had an opinion and had to express his opinions to consolidate his character. Hey, Elder Itachi, you guys want Uchiha to create a Hokage, but you didn't involve me. He's just a medical ninja, but he doesn't go into battle. It doesn't matter. Even if you are so resistant now, since you have become a ninja, the external environment will push you to make a decision. Ching Pheasant, Elder Weasel got back to business. Okay, where did we just talk? That regarding Elder Weasel's arbitrary opinions, Shinji said angrily, the blood successor will be eliminated. That I don't know why, but Shinji always feels that this Elder Weasel seems to be a little too kind to him. I'm afraid it's not just because of the blood inheritance limit of ice escape. You know, what kind of treatment he is receiving now. That's the same standard as Fugaku, the next heir to the clan leader, to be able to provide guidance beside Elder Itachi. This is not a treatment that just any Uchiha can have. Aokiji thinks that his current talent is pretty good, but after all, he doesn't have a Sharingan, at least that's how it seems to outsiders. The blood inheritance limit of ice release cannot be compared with Sharingan. Is it just because of the very low probability of being a double-blooded successor that he looks at himself differently? Aokiji had a bold idea, that is, could this old man actually know that he has the limit of double blood inheritance, so he is so used to his own temper? This possibility is not impossible, even very high. After all, the cost paid by the other party is really low. Just use the Sharingan to ask, and after you're done, just delete the memory. You may still think of yourself as smart like 250, but in fact, if you have any secrets, you've almost lost it. Thinking of this, Shinji's head hurt so much that he felt the need to go back and carefully examine the other party's motives. But for now, let's focus on listening to the information about Shuejia's elimination. This will be of great benefit to his future strength improvement, Elder Weasel said calmly. I don't know exactly how to develop the blood succession limit, but I can provide you with some general ideas. The green pheasant chick pecked at the rice and nodded. If you want to develop a blood successor elimination, the first prerequisite is to master the boundaries of the two blood successors. This is one of the reasons why blood inheritance eliminations are so rare. This sentence is refreshing for Shinji, and he realizes what it means to have an elder in the family. If there is a treasure, and you don't understand it, you can just ask directly, what is the limit of two blood inheritances? In order to give you a better understanding, I will keep this sentence in silence for now. I will first explain to you the blood inheritance limit as an example. Elder Weasel pointed out, take your ice escape as an example, which is composed of water escape plus the blood inheritance boundary formed by the fusion of wind escape. Shinji didn't dare to interrupt, he kept his face and held his breath, for fear of missing a word. This was an aspect of knowledge that was not covered in the original work. Elder Itachi said calmly, to do this, you must be proficient in at least two changes in the properties of chakra. Change in nature, that this word seemed to have been mentioned in the original novel. Shinji had forgotten what it was, so he couldn't help but ask more. In layman's terms, the process of converting ordinary chakra into attributes is called the change in the nature of chakra, and the opposite is the change in form. As the name suggests, taking the fire release and dragon flame singing technique as an example, just listen to the name. Knowing that this ninjutsu contains the word dragon, then the form of this ninjutsu is somewhat related to dragon. Don't think that the so-called form change is just a simple change of a shape. The power and speed of ninjutsu will be great. Improvement. For a powerful ninjutsu, the combination of changes in the nature of chakra and changes in chakra form is essential. Elder Itachi's lecture was easy to understand, and Aokiji understood it. Just getting off topic, Elder Itachi got back to the point. On top of this, you have to learn some fusion skills, such as forming ninjutsu with one hand throughout the entire process. One-handed seal. Aokiji had heard of this thing. In the original book, there was a seal technique that even a genius like Kakashi was shocked to see. You probably never told you this in the ninja school. It's normal for you to be surprised. Shinji nodded. Elder Itachi held his cane and stepped forward. Come with me, I will demonstrate it to you personally, and teach you a fire escape ninjutsu by the way. It can't be used here, and it can easily set the house on fire. Can't cast it. Aoki caught the key word, and when he heard it was a powerful ninjutsu, he jumped for joy, and followed Elder Itachi to a vast lake. It is easy to use fire release and accidentally set nearby buildings on fire, so when the Uchiha people practice, they will try to choose a place with water to practice. Shinji stared at the opponent intently, and saw him quickly forming seals with one hand. After a moment, he breathed flames from his mouth, shaped like a dragon's head, with a ferocious face, violent and unruly, and bit into the lake in the shape of 4 dragon heads. When fire meets water, the lake boils and evaporates a large amount of thick white smoke. This is the dragon flame singing technique that I mentioned to you just now. It takes into account changes in nature and form. It has a wide attack range and fast speed. It is difficult to block under normal circumstances. The training level is probably around B level. I will wait for you to be able to do it one day. If you are proficient in this ninjutsu, your strength will probably reach the level of Chunin. The B-level ninjutsu is more complicated and cannot be learned by simply teaching it once. Elder Itachi not only taught it once, but also took out 2 scrolls, too. Ching Pheasant was stunned for a moment. Elder Itachi explained, one of the ninjutsu is the dragon flame singing technique, and the other one is based on some experiences I have gained from fighting against ice escape ninjas in the past. I hope it will be helpful to you. What a good man. Ching Pheasant was very moved and put the 2 scrolls in his bag. If he found a treasure, he would study it carefully when he went back, but having said that, it seems that Uchiha Madara once used the dragon flame singing technique. Elder Itachi once taught Uchiha Madara. Through this method, I wonder if I will have the opportunity to learn ninjutsu such as extinguishing powerful fire in the future. After dealing with this matter, Elder Weasel continued, when you master the one-hand seal one day, then all you need to do is to release different chakra properties with both hands, and then fuse them through the seal. But it's up to you to figure out how to integrate it specifically. Hearing this, Shinji probably understood Elder Weasel's thinking, and drew inferences from one example. In other words, the elimination of the blood successor is the fusion of different blood succession limit escape techniques formed with 2 hands and 1 hand. Almost, that's what it means. You have the blood successor limit of ice escape. The elimination of blood successor is equivalent to 1/3 of the completion. The next step is to fuse another blood successor limit and then perform the final fusion. That's why you asked me to learn water escape and fire escape. Shinji understood and trembled, but if that's the case, why do we need water and fire? Fire and thunder can't do it. Doesn't this mean we have the fusion of 4 attributes? Isn't it wonderful? Elder Weasel smiled. It's that simple. The 3 chakra attributes are fused, so adding the word eliminate after the blood stain is quite complicated. Chapter 54, Blood Evolution, Freeze Escape. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The blue pheasant pricked up its ears. Why was Shueji eliminated? He hadn't really thought about this question. The blood inheritance limit is easy to understand, but the word elimination always makes people feel confused, like falling into a fog, and since the elimination of blood successors is the fusion of the 2 blood successors boundaries, why do the 2nd and 3rd generation Tsuchikage never show their hands in the original work? Is it possible that the blood inheritance limit is not as good as the blood inheritance elimination, so I don't bother to use it? Or the author is too lazy to think about it. For example, Uchiha Madara's kaleidoscope eye technique was never shown until his death. It is impossible to increase the power of ninjutsu as rumored. Isn't this nonsense? Just when Shinji was thinking wildly, Elder Weasel spoke. In the past, when people developed the blood successor elimination, they were very particular about their naming. In fact, in addition to the well-known name of the blood successor elimination, it also has a little-known name, a name everyone knows. Another name? Shinji said in astonishment. What name? Elder Weasel paused and uttered a word in a deep voice. Blood evolution. Shinji's eyes widened and he took a breath, shocked. The fusion of two blood inheritance limits will not create a new escape technique like the previous two attributes of chakra fusion, but will evolve based on one of the blood inheritance limits. Evolution. Yes, it is evolution. Elder Itachi said, so the elimination of blood successors is the ability that transcends the limits of blood successors. But I don't understand what this has to do with the word elimination. Elder Weasel said with some emotion, the fittest will survive and the unfit will be eliminated. This sentence is also applicable to the blood inheritance limit. During the process of fusion, one of the blood inheritance limits will disappear and become the support for the other blood inheritance limit. Nutrients to help it evolve. However, although this line of blood inheritance has disappeared, it has not completely disappeared. If there are descendants, there is still a chance that this line of blood inheritance will be inherited. P.S. Anoki's granddaughter seems to have melting release. She was 18 years old when she appeared. With her talent, I don't even believe she can develop it on her own. I guess she is more likely to inherit it. But if the fusion is to be successful, the premise is that there must be common chakra attributes between the two blood inheritance limits, otherwise there will be repulsion. So this is also the reason why only 3 chakra attributes can be fused. These are all it is the countless experiences summed up by predecessors. This is why I asked you to choose water release and fire release for training. You have a natural affinity for fire release, and Uchiha himself is a ninja who is good at fire release. You can have a lot of information for reference in this regard. As for the other one, why it is water release instead of wind release, because the functions of wind release and fire release overlap, and both are offensive ninjutsu. Shinji nodded, feeling that it would be nice if someone taught him. Elder Weasel is such a good person, the road has been paved for you, you just need to follow the steps step by step to avoid taking detours. Elder Weasel narrowed his eyes slightly, with a hint of subtle cunning in his eyes. In fact, he didn't say a word. Although the function of wind escape overlaps with fire escape, it can strengthen the power of fire escape. He asked Qing Pheasant to choose water escape, mainly because the kingdom of water is his back garden, and there are many advantages in water escape. A large amount of information is available for Qing Pheasant's reference. Qing Pheasant pursed his lips and said with some pain, after a lot of hard work, I merged into a blood inheritance boundary. I didn't expect that it would disappear in the end. One more escape technique can greatly enrich the combat options, let alone an escape technique of this level such as blood succession limit. The boiling escape composed of fire plus water is not shown much in the original work, but it is still quite impressive. Boiling escape, unparalleled strange power, the chakra is raised to the boiling point and explodes in one blow. It is a technique that increases the strength of the whole body in an instant. A punch may be more powerful than Tsunade's strange power. Moreover, this move may also affect the whole body, causing the blood in the whole body to boil, greatly improving one's physical skills. This is the blood inheritance limit that can strengthen physical skills. Elder Itachi shook his head and didn't think so. Ninjutsu should be refined, not too many. There is a saying that one force can defeat all methods. The power of a blood successor's elimination is not the same as that of a blood successor's limit. I said it so dryly, but you may not have any idea. Let me give you an example. There were not many examples of blood successors being eliminated, so Uchiha Madara naturally thought of his defeated opponents in the past. Take the second-generation Tsuchikage as an example. He is a ninja who is famous for his blood successors. Before he successfully integrated the blood successors and was eliminated, he had two blood successors, namely the split style and the melting style. Melt escape and divide escape. Qing Pheasant was stunned. He knew what melting escape was, but what was this division escape? Elder Itachi patiently explained. Melting escape is an escape technique that combines fire plus earth. You can understand it as an escape technique that can release magma. As for the divided escape fire, it is an escape technique that combines earth plus wind. In terms of ability, it is probably split. Split? In layman's terms, it means being able to split objects, even oneself. Qing Pheasant sounds a bit similar to Chindan. Is it possible that this escape technique is the predecessor of Chindan? Elder Weasel continued. After he successfully fused the two blood realms, the melting escape disappeared, and instead the fun escape evolved into the now well-known dust escape. Originally, the ability of the split escape requires several seconds to split the target, and the split size is also limited. However, after evolving into dust escape, in addition to the weakness of taking a while to charge up at the beginning, once it is hit, it is instantly destroyed by ashes, and its power is so great that it will kill you if you touch it. Having said this, Elder Itachi glanced at Aoki and smiled meaningfully. You are born with the blood successor limit of ice release. One day in the future, if the blood successor is really developed and eliminated, the final evolved blood successor limit should be ice escape. And by that time, you should have a new name for your blood successor, haha. Elder Weasel's words successfully aroused Aoki's strong interest, and he felt a little dazed after hearing them. If the development eliminates the elimination of blood successors, can he reach the scale of Pirate Aokiji? If an ice age continues, the sea will be frozen. Thinking of this, Qingji clenched his fist slightly, his eyes were blazing, he was silent for a while, and said in a deep voice, Freeze escape. Freezing escape, what a good name. Uchiha Madara murmured behind the scenes. To a certain extent, the elimination of Goshitsuji is similar to the birth of his Naoba Mangekyo Sharingan. Uchiha Madara's current pair of Naoba Mangekyo Sharingan were born from the fusion of his and his younger brother Izuna's Mangekyo. Since it is a fusion, theoretically he should retain his younger brother's eye skills, but that's not the case. His eyes only have his own pupils, but again, basically, his pupil power was greatly increased, and the side effects that restricted the performance of his pupil power were all eliminated. Even the pattern of the Sharingan eye was significantly changed. The Sharingan is an ability classified into the blood successor limit, but strictly speaking, his Sharingan can no longer be called the blood successor limit. More accurately, it should be called the blood successor elimination. There was desire in Aoki's eyes. Elder Weasel saw it, and smiled slightly, and it seemed that his guidance was pretty good. Well, it's not so easy to develop the blood successor after being eliminated, so just take this as your goal and work hard. As the sky grew dark, he looked up at the sky and coughed twice. It's getting late, I'll go back first. Aoki Pheasant was not a fool either. Seeing that the other party valued him so much and told him so much knowledge, he was still very moved and said in a gentle voice, Do you want me to take you back? I'm not too old to walk yet. Elder Weasel said stubbornly, You have this time, you might as well devote it to cultivation. This is the greatest reward for me and the family. Qingji listened and nodded seriously. After watching Elder Weasel leave, Qingji concentrated on practicing for a while. When he returned home, it was completely dark. He took a shower, lay on the bed, stared at the ceiling for a long time, and thought about one thing.